Are you tired of feeling like you have so much to offer in your work, but it's just not coming through? Watching what everyone else is doing and wondering whether that will work for you? Stop that right now. You've come to the right place because here on the Cosmic Queen podcast with me, Rachel Starr, you're going to discover your genius, your gifts, and how you can use your iconic cosmic blueprint to create the business and lifestyle you crave. I started my business as a side hustle alongside my successful career in tech. When I had my son during lockdown, I knew it was time to leave the corporate jungle for the entrepreneur's adventure. I'm a 2-5 manifesting generator with a Sag midheaven archetype, and I've built it all my way. Now I'm going to teach you to do the same. This is a no cookie cutter advice zone. Here we use personalized and effective systems like astrology and human design to work smarter, not harder, and have a damn good time doing it. Welcome to the Cosmic Cutting Edge. We need to talk about next year. We need to talk about 2025 and the major astrology that is coming our way. Welcome back to the Cosmic Queen podcast, soon to be rebranded. I'm very excited. There is going to be a redesign, rebrand of this podcast because we have big things to do in 2025. There's going to be so much juicy goodness coming your way, so many amazing guests. Make sure that you're subscribed on all of the platforms. Make sure you're on my email list. We've got a lot of really great things in store for you, podcast listeners. So I want to give you today a bit of a preview of 2025. There is a lot, I don't even know how to say this. There's so much astrology happening. And I keep seeing people say, what is going on? Like we're looking at what's going on in the geopolitical sphere. We're looking at the economics. We're looking at the social aspect of like the world right now. And everyone's looking at astrologers being like, WTF? What's happening? Please explain. And all astrologers worth their salt are like, yeah, we said this was coming. We knew this was coming. It's chaos. It's crazy, but it's also reorienting us for the Aquarian age. So I always, in whatever I'm talking about, I want to be clear with people, preparing them for upheaval, for change, but there is always hope. Okay. There is always a strong, empowering sense of hope behind everything I'm ever going to tell you. So I just want you to know that right now. Before we went live on the podcast, one of my amazing TikTok community, shout out to you. You are live here with me right now. Someone said, I just am going to go with the flow. I just don't, we'll just see what comes through, right? Like we're just trying to get by. And I think a lot of us can relate to that right now. Right? I can relate to that right now. A lot of us are experiencing big personal shifts while we feel like we're also being asked to hold space. Now everyone knows what holding space is. Thank you, Wicked. Thank you, Cynthia Arrivo. Thank you, Queer Media. We're all holding space for the massive upheavals and changes that are going on around the world that we don't have control over while we're trying to hold space for ourselves. And that is an impossible task. And I just want to say that, and I just want to kind of speak to that for a second, that I'm there with you. Like I'm crying too. I'm shutting off the news because it's too much too. I'm trying to stay informed, but also overwhelmed too. Like I'm there. And it's not done. It's not over. There's going to be a lot that is coming to us over the next year, especially, and also over the next 2 to 3 years. So let's get into it. Okay, so enough prefacing, enough introduction. Give me the goods, Rachel. Okay, so I'm really excited to talk a little bit about one of the major movements that's happening next year. It's happening in January. If you know, shout out, mention it in the chat if you think you know what what planetary astrology transit I'm talking about. But exactly a month from today, so much changes. The themes of what we're all working towards, the direction we're heading in, the things we're letting go of and healing is shifting. We're in a new theme, a new chapter, a new era as of January 11th, 2025. So excited. Quick plug. At the end of today, I'll talk a little bit more about it, but I am inviting all of you to my astrology forecast event. It is going to be incredible. So I'm going to give you a little taste today that you can take away, mark your calendar, and start working with now. And there is so much more that we need to unpack together. And we're going to do it in this astrology forecast event. I decided to host this because there's just so much, and I want you to be prepared. I want you to be ready. I want you to have your eyes open. I want you to feel informed, and I want you to start making plans for what you are going to create for yourself, how you are going to support yourself, and how you're going to empower yourself in 2025. So that forecast event is going to be on Wednesday, December 18th. I am so excited. Tickets are going to be on sale by the time this podcast comes out, and they're $11. Really great price for a huge amount of value that I'm preparing for you. There is going to be so much information. I'm also thinking of putting together a workbook because if you know me, you know I love a workbook. Saturn on the midheaven, so sue me, or don't. But I love to have some way of trying to like organize all the information. And there's gonna be a lot of information. I'm booking this for an hour and a half with you guys. Okay. I'm really excited. Come to the forecast, grab your ticket, tell a friend. It's gonna be amazing. Okay. So five major ingresses next year. Of course, we're having retrogrades, and it's really interesting. I'm going to tease you a bit here, but there's something every year called the cosmic. Well, I have a lot of terminology that I created that's like my IP. It's Cosmic Queen. You're not going to see this anywhere else. But there's something I call the cosmic fast lane. The cosmic fast lane is normally about 2 to 4 months every year where we have no retrogrades. And next year, it's 3 weeks. So we don't have like any, there's a lot going on next year. There's a lot of reviewing, resetting, recalibrating, a huge amount of change and shifting next year. And that little point alone shows you that, right? Like there's not a lot of just clear runway next year, but that's okay because we just got to learn how to fly. So that's the point. Um, the major transit, I've kept you with bated breath long enough. The major transit happening on January 11th is the shift in the nodes. If you've done my class called True North, which you can purchase, I think it's like $33 on my website, you know the power of the nodes, right? The North Node and the South Node are these mathematical points that's all about the relationship of the sun, the moon, the earth. And they are just incredible to work with for cosmic growth. I call the nodal axis, which are, by the way, always in opposite signs. The North Node is always in the opposite sign of the South Node, so it creates an opposition in astrology. So there's tension, right? It's the cosmic growth path. That's what I call it. So when you're working with the North Node, you're always looking at, first of all, the North Node that you were born with. So you want to look at your chart and find out, okay, where is my North Node? That is my cosmic growth path, North Star. That's my true north. That's the direction that I need to head in. That sign, embodying that sign, mastering that sign, getting really comfortable with that sign, that's my work. That's my job. That's how I grow in this life, right? Like massive. So the North Node that you're born with is very significant. You're heading in that direction. You're stretching yourself. You're meant to lead there. The South Node is also very significant. The South Node is something you might be more comfortable with, an area that you might be more comfortable with, but it's really what you're letting go of. And there's a lot of healing and subconscious patterns that need to be dealt with. That's like my 30-second primer on the nodes. There's so much more detail to this, but that's my intro. So what you need to know is that on January 11th, 2025, the North Node is shifting from Aries to Pisces, and the South Node is shifting from Libra to Virgo. So that's a huge, huge shift. There's a lot that means. But I just want to talk about the North Node for a second. In the forecast event, we're going to go into much more detail. We're going to talk about the South Node because there's a lot with that next year, and the eclipses. We're going to talk about the eclipses because the eclipses are always on the nodes, right? So we'll talk about all that. But let's talk about the North Node for a second. I am very hopeful for the direction in which our planet is going. And that's because we're about to enter North Node in Pisces. Pisces is the sign of hope. And I'm getting a little verklempt even just thinking about it. But if you need something to remind you of the power of hope, the enduringness of hope, the unbreakability of hope, you just have to look in a few places. One of the places I encourage you to look is there's an incredible painting called Hope, and I should have written down who it's by. It's by one of the pre-Raphaelites. I want to say Leighton. Hope painting. Do I have it in my notes? Do I have it in my notes? No. Okay. Well, I will look it up and put it in the show notes here so that you know what it is. It's by one of the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood, and they painted this incredible painting of hope. And I went and saw it the other day. It's hanging in the Tate Britain Museum in London. So if you're in London, go and see it. It will move you. And it's this beautiful image of a woman blindfolded, I believe, kind of sitting on a planet. And I'm not going to tell you what the planet is because you need to look it up and you need to figure out what the planet is. But this is part of the mystery and the magic of this painting. And she has a harp or a lyre or a lute, whatever it is, next to her. And on this harp, there is all of the strings are broken except one. There's one string left, and she's going to play it. And it's just such a beautiful visual representation of what hope is. We don't know what's coming. We don't know. We can't see it, but we can sense that there's something more, that there's something left, that there's something better, that there's music for us in the moment. Go and look up that painting. And to me, that is absolutely what Pisces North Node is all about. And I'm excited for us to explore this individually, and I'm excited for us to explore this socially. In the forecast event, I'm going to talk a lot about the human design as well, which is really exciting. A lot of you may know about, astrology transits. You know that Pisces is the sign of love, the sign of kindness, the sign of creativity, the sign of the dreamer, the sign of the visionary. You know these things if you know your astrology. That's the direction. That's our true north, our star that we are heading towards next year for 18 months, by the way. This is all going to be happening for an 18-month period starting January 11th. But if you know the human design, there's another layer here. There's another layer of meaning and understanding that this combination of the chakras, the I Ching, the Kabbalah tree of life, and astrology can bring us within the human design system. And I want to tell you that we're starting off the year, and it's actually, they're already there now, but we're starting off the year as of December 4th, I believe they're already there. The nodes, the North Node is in gate 25. Let me just confirm this in my notes for you. Yeah. So we're starting the year with the North Node in gate 25. The South Node is gate 46. Again, I'm not talking about the South Node today. That's a whole thing in itself. But the North Node is in gate 25, which is in the identity center, otherwise known as the G center in the human design chart. And I don't have an image for you right now, but the G center, the identity center, I'm doing this on my heart because it's part of the heart chakra. And it really is the core, the center of our being. And gate 25 sits right there. That's where the North Node is sitting in the human design chart for the beginning of the year until January 31st, when it moves into gate 36 and the solar plexus. That is a whole shift that we need to talk about, but we're starting here. And in the heart center, in gate 25, we have this incredible energy of innocence, of wonder, and of love. And I want to read you a little something from this book, Circuitry. If you're watching the YouTube video, you can see, or on Substack, you can see the image by Richard Rudd, who is famously the creator of the Gene Keys. I love how he puts things into words, and I just want to read this to you about gate 25. Gate 25, it says, this is the gate of the spirit of the self. So if you want to write anything down, it's the gate of the spirit of the self. Beautiful. It's for people for whom initiation is to retain innocence despite circumstances. This is the gate of universal, unconditional love. People with this gate defined are capable of a deep compassion for all life, although not necessarily for any one individual over another. If that doesn't sound like Pisces, I don't know what does, right? Pisces is about recognizing our oneness, recognizing our connectedness, and the North Node is there right now. And it's going to be there when the shift into Pisces happens on January 11th as well. So from now until January 31st, we're experiencing this North Node in the gate of the spirit of the self. So what I want you to like contemplate and consider is, how can I love myself more? And how can I just be love more? There's a power and a softness to this. I think Pisces is really like the definition of soft power. This is, you cannot shake it. Like you cannot unseat it. It is everywhere. It permeates everything that we do, everything that we are. And that's the vibe. That's the vibe of where we want to be and what we want to be tapping into for the next 18 months. So I'm so excited for this shift. I think it's going to be really, really, I think it's very needed, right? We're very divided. We need this sense of unity. We need this sense of love. We need this sense of compassion more than ever. So business owners, right? Business owners, I'm speaking to you. You need to be thinking about how you are creating this sense of spiritual connectedness, oneness, community around your work. Because the people who are not doing that, falling behind. We're done. We already see it. People who are constantly creating division, constantly creating nastiness, like we are getting real tired of that. The vast majority of people are getting real tired of that. So I'm very much looking forward to that. I hope you are as well. And it's interesting because we're going to have a lot of letting go to do with that Virgo South Node. So if you want to know more about what that means and what to expect, the healing we need to do, the cleaning house we need to do, the letting go we need to do, then look forward to our forecast event. I can give you a little hint, okay? This Pisces versus Virgo axis that we're all going to be in for the next 18 months, and the eclipses are all going to be activating us in those signs for the next 18 months. It's spirit versus body. It's love versus service. It's going to be interesting. The shadow side of service. Being versus fixing. It's creativity versus practicality. We'll unpack all of that together and what that means for you, what that means for future proofing your business, what that means for what the collective is going to need support with over the next 18 months. This is major. There are a lot of other things happening next year. Almost all of, well, if you include Pluto, which has just moved into Aquarius, all of the outer and social planets are shifting signs next year. It's crazy. This doesn't happen all the time. This is once in a lifetime astrology that's going on. So if you're feeling it, if you're feeling like, whoa, 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 I don't know if I can take anymore, just know you were born for this moment. You were born for this. You were given the gifts and the talents and the skills that you have for now. And now it's just a matter of figuring out what we're going to do next, figuring out the next step, getting into the right communities and connecting with your people. Pisces is going to bring us together. I'm very, very excited. So with that, there's so much more to talk about. We could talk about Uranus. We could talk about Neptune. We could talk about Saturn. We could talk about all the retrogrades and fire signs. There's a lot coming, everyone. Okay. And I'm going to tell you all of the major themes of 2025 at this beautiful 2025 Astrology and Human Design Forecast event. Very few places on the internet are you going to find insight that comes from both the human design and the astrology. I can't tell you enough. This is the place to be. If you're listening to this after December 18th, don't worry, you can get the replay. Just message me on social media. We're going to be talking about all this stuff a lot. You're going to get the goods. You're not going to be left behind. You're going to know how to plan your year, and you're going to be ready for what is coming. Because like I said, we were born for this moment. I absolutely believe that. All right, I'm going to love you and leave you right now. There's a lot more that we need to talk about. Nova 2025 is coming. Let me make a quick plug for a couple things. If you want to get into a community that you know you need to be a part of for 2025, cosmic explorers, insight and support, personalized coaching, all kinds of vaults of cosmic courses that you can study in your own time and get to support yourself and your goals and your dreams and your ambitions, you need to get in on the Constellation community. That is my membership program. It's incredible. We're doing really big things next year. And I've got some really exciting bonuses that I'm going to announce in the next couple of days that will be if you decide to join us for the year. So you can do month to month and leave anytime, come and go, or you can say, you know what, I'm ready for my 12 months of cosmic magic. And I want to be in a group that is supportive, that knows what they're doing, that gets the insight where we can harness all of the things that are coming in the next year. Jump into our constellation community. We've got some really exciting things. The theme for Capricorn season coming up is productivity. And we've got courses, we've got all kinds of stuff ready. It's going to be amazing. We've got guests. Oh, going to be so good. So join that membership. Get your ticket well, if you're in the membership, you automatically get a ticket to the forecast. So that's all included. Almost everything I do is like included in the membership. Get your ticket to the forecast. What else do I need to tell you? If you want to talk about working one-to-one, let me know. I have limited spaces for Q1. Make sure you're subscribed to the podcast. There's so much coming up. You want to be part of that magic. Okay. I love you all so much. Thank you to those of you who are on TikTok. I love you as always. Hopefully we'll be together in 2025. I don't know, but if you're watching, and you're one of my incredible 13, almost 14,000 TikTok community, you've got to make sure that you're subscribed somewhere else, because we know that, my app will be here because I'm in the UK, but the American app may be going away. It's as of late January on the day of Aquarius starting, which is crazy. Anyway, all right, I got to let you go. I'll talk to you next time. And as I always say, keep reaching for the stars.